Before we get into the episode, if you guys can please smash that like button and subscribe to Best Kandi Ever's channel, as well as rate and review the podcast on Apple Podcasts, that would be greatly appreciated and would really help support me and Best Kandi Ever. Thank you so much, guys.
We both were able to save our money, and we got together one day and we're like, you know what, we need to invest. And we had a plan, we're going to be together. And my whole thought process, and his as well, is like, why spend $40,000 on a wedding, for one day? Like, let's just invest that in a business, because that already is a commitment to each other. Once you own a business together, you're a lot more committed to each other on paper than you are through marriage.
Yo, what is up, Kandi crew? Welcome to this very special episode of Best Kandi Ever. Today, I have a very inspirational guest on the podcast. She is an entrepreneur who does so many things with this awesome business of hers. Without further ado, I want to welcome Marie, aka one of the founders of the Drop Smoke Shop here in Vegas.
Yes. Hi. Also Rave and Festival.
Yes. What's up, girl? I want to say that, first of all, I haven't seen you in forever, which was like about 2 years ago, I want to say. How have you been? How's everything going?
Good. Yeah, everything's been super cool. I mean, obviously, COVID had everything shut down for a year. So we've just super excited to have made it through 2020. And here we are. We're still here. We're still doing it. So I'm just happy. And yeah, it's been so long since we've seen each other. When we were doing the shuffle workshops, those were the days. We're bringing those back soon, though, for sure.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. So before we really dive into it, can you give us a little introduction into who you are, your business, the Drop, and like everything? Just give us a rundown, especially for people that like haven't even heard of you guys.
Okay, yeah. Well, my name's Marie. My partner is Robert. We've definitely been involved with the community for the last few years. We were actually inspired to open the Drop because we wanted to open a store that is very diverse and a lot more about the culture than just sales. Obviously, we wanted to be able to bring to the community fun festivities, events, things that make it a fun experience when you come. We want it to be a whole experience. So when we opened up the Drop, we were actually just going to be a smoke shop in the beginning. And we looked for locations. When we found the location that we got on Eastern and Flamingo, it turned out that it was just like a way bigger space than we anticipated. So that was inspiration. Like, you know what? We can make a rave store also, because we're going to have so much room. And that was something we both really wanted to do, because we've gone to EDC. Like one of our very first dates was EDC. And that was back in 2014. So was literally like the beginning. And he actually got me into going to raves, because it was never really like a thing for me, just because I'm from Reno. Raves don't happen out there. It's not really a scene. It's more like Mexican and hip hop clubs, So yeah. When I met him, we started hitting up the raves, going to EDC, and I would try to shop for clothes in Vegas, and they would be so hard to go everywhere and piece things up together. Actually, my first, this is kind of off topic, but still on the topic, my first EDC, my outfit was ridiculous. Like, I wish I had a picture. I actually do have a picture. I have to show it to you.
What were you wearing?
I Googled like, what do girls wear to EDC? And it was like the leg warmers, like the fuzzy leg warmers, and
fluffies.
Fluffies and daisies. And I went to Walmart and I bought like bouquets of daisies, just a bunch of them. And I got safety pins and I glue them, and I literally glued them to my top, my bottoms, my fluffies. I was like a flower bush. And like we met up with some friends, and I told the girl that I was with, I was like, how does my outfit look? I had just met her, and she was like a EDC OG. Like she was just wearing like regular spandex shorts. She didn't even care. And she's like, well, I think you need more daisies. She's like being sarcastic, like just, clowning on my outfit. And it's when I look back now, I'm like, that was what what I chose to wear. And then it was horrible because this is when EDC was like in June. So
Oh,
it'd
it's
be
hot.
20 degrees. Girl, wearing fuzzy fluffies on your legs. It was so hot. And I spent like $150 for them because I bought them at like Showgirls or something. I don't know, but I didn't want to toss them. So I was carrying my fuzzies all over the whole EDC. It was a really crazy experience for me the first time for sure.
Oh my
But
God.
anyways, I went off. Yeah, so I went off on a whole rant. So back to the shop, that was like the inspiration was, you know what, now that we can open a smoke shop and we have enough space, we can bring it all together and make it all one. So yeah.
Yeah. And some of the cool things that I know that you guys have are, I believe it's like an artist contest. I think basically you guys have people like submit their art, right, of the Drops logo. At least that's what I've seen online. Can you tell us a little bit more?
Yeah, well, Rob and I are both like huge, how would you say it?
Like
we love art. Yeah, art fanatics. There you go. Mm-hmm. We love raw art. We love raw talent. And one thing that I've always loved about raw artists is they're able to express themselves, and there's no wrong or right way to make art pieces. And so that was one of our big thing. We wanted to get involved with the art community because we know that artists tend to be kind of struggling to really make it out there. So that was where we decided to have an art contest and have all the local artists submit different versions of what they think would be cool on our next apparel. And then, once we picked a winner, actually we let people vote. So we let the community vote. And once the winner was decided, we printed their art on our next drop of clothing. So that's something we want to continue to do, is just stay involved with the art community and allow them to design for us and come up with cool designs, even with rolling trays. And we want to even come out with our own pashminas and have artists make like raw art, to put on pashminas. So we're actually working on that too. It's going to be cool.
Oh, that's so awesome. I think that's so great because it's like you guys are being really interactive with the community. And I don't know a lot of people that do that accept other people's like designs for their upcoming line or whatever. That's super cool. That can be that customizable where it's like your stuff.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So I know you guys carry, oh my God, you guys don't just carry smoke shop stuff. You guys carry a lot of rave stuff too. I saw that you guys even carry like glow effects and a lot of Rave Wonderland's line too.
I actually have some glow effects stuff right here. I was like, I'll bring, bam. So we got the fuzzy goggles.
Oh, those are so adorable.
I love these. And then we have some heart kaleidoscope glasses, so like you could see hearts.
Yeah, those are always fun.
Yeah, so I kind of just have a bunch of different options for everybody to try. Glow effects is such a great necessary item to have with you when you're at the stage watching a light show.
Yeah, I love those. Those are so freaking adorable. I really like the first ones. I think those just came out like recently as well.
Yeah. Yes, the fuzzies are the best. They're so fun too.
Yeah. You guys carry their flow stuff as well, right? Like orbits and
orbits, wands. We have poi, gloves. We carry amazing lights as well. So all amazing lights you can find here at the drop, from gloves to even what are they called? Diffusers. We have all the popcorn and cube diffusers, batteries. We keep the batteries on deck for sure. So CR 1620s, if you need them, we got them.
That's awesome. I don't know any place that sells the batteries.
No,
that's really cool.
Batteries always.
Yeah. So looking from your background, I had a feeling that you guys are definitely into art, and that you guys do support lots of local artists. I know that you guys definitely work with Jessica from Vegas Flow, as well as a lot of local talent within the community. What has that been like for you guys?
Honestly, it's been so great. And I believe in the law of attraction. So it's kind of funny how we got involved with the community and everybody that's entertainment in this rave community, Las Vegas, because when Rob and I were getting things going on the rave side, we were thinking, you know what? I wish we could shuffle. To this day, I swear I can't shuffle yet. I could do the T-step and I've gotten it down, but one day I'm just going to be like, bam, I'm going to have the moves and everything. But, it's a work in progress. So we talked about how cool would it be. This is way before Jess, Desert Warrior, Vegas Flow, before I even knew they existed. We were like, you know what? It would be so cool if we can have like shuffle workshops or something where we can learn to shuffle and have the community come and do classes. And the next thing you know, one of our friends introduced us to Jess. It was literally like the next week, here comes Jess. Like, I'm Vegas Flow. I do shuffle workshops. And there she was. It was kind of like, you ask and you shall receive, and it was ever since then, like, I love her. I love the Vegas Flow team. I love what they're about. And even just the positivity that comes from it and dancing to release and, just all express yourself, self-expression and just getting together and just, making that bond. I love everybody that's a part of Vegas Flow, especially because everybody's so different, but the dancing kind of brings all the different people together. And I love that. So it's been so fun. And it was cool when you came that time too. That's how we met. And it was just such a great time.
I was about to say, that's when I was introduced to you guys. And that was my first time ever really coming into the drop. Otherwise, I wouldn't have really found out about it. And when I found out that you guys do all these other things, like, for example, comedy shows, I was like, who are these people? Like, they're definitely within the scene, but you guys have so many interests that aren't just rave related. And I think that's so awesome. You guys are so versatile in that way, but you guys still have like EDM integrated everywhere within your store.
Yeah. And I love that. And even with our 3-year anniversary, so we just celebrated that on Sunday.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. It was such a great turnout. And it was so cool to see like the hip hop community, because we had a rap battle going on. So we had the hip hop community here, then we had the cannabis community, and then we had the rave community. And it was just so cool to see such diverse people all together in a mixer, just hanging out, having a good time, and just so cool. And like the Evil Twins, they came out, they brought the Rage Cage, they were doing their fire tricks and everything. And then we had Saturn Superstar. Shout out to Saturn Superstar, because she really is a superstar. She came through and she was doing her stilt walking, and she actually performs for Insomniac. So she actually does walking. And it's so cool that this is the second year in a row that I've had her do that. And it was the same thing with her and the Evil Twins. They just kind of flowed and like gravitated towards us. And it was just so cool now I just feel like best friends with everybody. And I'm just like, I'm so grateful for the way the drops like bringing everybody together, so I love it.
100%. It almost looked like a little mini festival that you guys had going on with all the art, talent, all the food. And I know that you guys did like a really cool giveaway or a raffle for like $2,500 worth of stuff, right?
Yeah, so we actually had all our sponsors bring different items. We had Loud Packs Jay, so he's a really big influencer in California. And so a lot of people know him in the cannabis community, and he has his own clothing line, Gold Label. So he brought all kinds of merch and just gave it away to everybody. We also did a $300 cash prize to the winner of the rap battle. And then we were just all our sponsors like Cushy Punch, a CBD brand. We were able to give away tons of CBD, which is great because everybody was able to
loves it.
Really, of course, they love it. And it's really cool for people who've never really tried it. There was a lot of new people who haven't been exposed to it also. So super cool.
Yeah, I feel like that's such a great mixer, but you guys just have so many different communities that you guys are involved with. What would you say is the hardest part about being a specialized smoke shop, but yet having all of these different connections?
The biggest challenge that I've faced or we've faced during this would be our website. Oh my goodness. Our website has been the biggest challenge, and mostly because it's so tedious to build a website and having to put all the details into it and sharing our inventory within the store along with our website. There's a lot more to it. A lot of people come in and they think, oh my God, I would love to work here, which I'm pretty sure they would, because everybody who does work here loves it. The thing is, it looks like we're just playing around and having fun and hanging out, but there's a lot of behind the scenes, really hard work that happens on a continuous basis. And we're like, work, work, work. Even when it looks like we're just having a party, we're working, And back to the website, because we're a smoke shop, it's considered high risk. So
Really?
yeah. So actually, cannabis is still federally illegal in certain states, right? So back then, smoke shops were considered paraphernalia, right? So it's still where it's normalized now in Nevada, California, smoke shops, it's so normalized. In other states, where it's still federally illegal, smoke shops are considered paraphernalia. So the website situation, banks are still very conservative, and they actually don't want to allow processing of paraphernalia. So the way you word things, you can't say that a bong is a bong or that it's for cannabis. It has to be like it's a water piece, it's art, glass art, things like that. And we've been shut down multiple times by our processors, where my website went down, like literally right before Black Friday. My website was shut down. I had to spend 3 days, no sleep, like going crazy, like trying to get my whole web development team on the phone, trying to literally find a processor. And luckily, like I had to make phone calls. I got the right people on the phone, and I was able to get a processor right on time. Like we relaunched literally like 2 hours into Black Friday, and we got it back on, and it was up for 2 days, and then they shut us down again. So we were able to get through Black Friday. Then I had to find another processor. So now I'm with a really good processor where that's what they specialize in. There are higher rates when it comes to processing fees and things like that. But my ultimate goal is to be able to provide more than just the Las Vegas community. I love the Las Vegas community, but we're trying to be nationwide. Like we want to be known. We're trying to be a tourist attraction here. And that's why we're really pushing to involve ourselves with the community and the rest of the country, as well as influencers and other brands. And we love the fact that we're a small business. We're only 3 years in, and we're starting to get recognition for the hard work that we put out. And we're all about helping build other small brands and other people who are trying to get to where we're getting to, because we know how hard the work it is. You know what I mean? So that's where that's been a challenge, but we have overcome it. And our website, like if you guys get a chance, thedroplv.com, go check it out. It's still the major work in progress. We are also working on getting the Rave site a lot more fun, because our website is actually, when you go on our website, it's everything, because we're considered a culture shop, right? So when you go on there, there's cookies, there's exotic pop, there's a smoke shop, but then we have a rave and festival section where we carry Rave Wonderland. We have Set for Live, Flow FX, Amazing Lights. So we're still continuing to build the rave section of our website, so that, like, what I tell my web developers is I want it to be a party. I want you to go on our website and just see like fun explosion of parties. So that's what we're working on right now, for sure.
Oh my God, that's so much. I feel like that's so much stuff to go on behind the scenes. I didn't know that you guys, well, I knew that you guys had a website, but I didn't know that they attempted to, they shut you guys down so many times. And in terms of processing, does that mean like were you the one who was going like word by word, trying to make sure that you guys weren't using words like bong or...
Yeah. We had to go in. We literally it took 3 of us and almost 4 of us to go in and just every single product start going and cleaning up the information, all the data, like exporting files, importing files, like going through it over and over and over again. It was such a challenge, and it still is to this day, because with us, most rave stores, they're rave stores. So no problem selling clothes and accessories. Most smoke shops, they're just a smoke shop. What happens then when you tie in clothing and smoke shop, there's a very specific way everything has to be detailed on there so that it doesn't cross communicate and come off as I guess,
like something illegal.
Yeah, there you go. Illegal. So it's a lot to it, definitely.
And about how many products do you guys carry, like in terms of quantity?
Oh my goodness. Like each type of product, we definitely have over like a couple thousand products, like individually. Yeah, it's insane.
There's only 4 of you guys working on all that.
Well, I think now we're at about 7. I have a really great family. My family is my team. I love them so much. They've put in so much work. It's just been great to have my family so supportive throughout the years from the beginning, and they come in and they help and they volunteer and they've helped us so much. But we also have employees who just happened to just join the team. They all started as customers, to be honest. All our team were customers that came in and would just like support and start hanging out. And we're like, you know what, you should work here. You and they just became part of the team because they were always here. And now it's just so great the way we built our team, and we're only building more. We are definitely getting busier and busier. It's crazy how fast, especially now that COVID's shut down, or the world's reopening, it's like getting even more busy. So, which is a great.
Yeah, that's a good thing. There are a couple of smoke shops that were near my place, but then after a while, like my boyfriend and I noticed that they were no longer there. So I'm really happy to hear that you guys still were able to make it through all this craziness. Were you guys open the majority of the time, or did you guys have to at one point do like curbside delivery or have to do some alternate business?
Thank you for being happy for us that we're still opening and we're still open and we make it through. I appreciate that. To be honest, I'm thankful to the community for sure that helped us stay open throughout this whole year, because without them, we wouldn't have any business. I think what really got us through COVID, and it was crazy because we were pretty busy during COVID. Like things didn't slow down for us. Maybe.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
They did here or there, but for the most part, because we launched our website, remember back how I said Black Friday of 2019. So that was when our website got shut down. I got it back up. Then it was shut down for a couple months, and all that hard work, I went through so much work until about January 2020. And I was able to get my website back up with the right processor. So the crazy part is, because the world shut down, all the smoke shops shut down, there was a very small percentage of smoke shops who had websites with everything that people were looking for. So my website sales just like went up like crazy. And I've been shipping across the country, because think about all the states where they had complete shutdowns, where they couldn't even leave their house. They couldn't even go to a smoke shop and get anything. So we were just getting so many online sales. And then when they shut us down, we kind of refused to shut down because we're like, oh my God, no, what do you mean? Like we worked so hard. How can you tell us to shut our business down?
Right.
And we were wearing masks, we were sanitizing, we were trying to still keep things open, but then we got served. The state came and served us a paper and said, nope, you got to shut down. Yeah, they shut us down. We went home for 2 days and we started going crazy, because Rob and I are like not homebodies. We do not spend a day at home. We have to be out proactive doing something. So we were like, we're going back to the shop. We'll just have the door locked and we'll just start getting things done. Luckily, the website was already up. I got in touch with my web development team and we created the curbside pickup option where people can place the order and come pick up their orders. And we would just go outside like with a mask, with gloves, and we'd give them their stuff with a sanitary wipe and everything. And that's how we did it. And we did that for about 2 months of just appointments. We would let people book appointments where only one person could come in the store every hour. So I had like an appointment book and people would call and we were doing appointments, and it was a lot. I can't even believe. And I was so heartbroken. I was like, how did we just work so hard to open a business and it's flourishing and everything? EDC is getting bigger. The rave community has grown in Las Vegas, and smoke shop, everything. And it was really disappointing, but we just were like, you know what, we're going to get through this. And to be honest, I was like, the world's going to reopen. There's no way we're going to stay shut down forever. So we just have to like go hard and just keep pushing. And that was what we did. We just made sure to stay as involved as possible as we could. So.
Right. And I think that you guys did such a great job at being able to adapt that fast. I think that's what a lot of people don't really see about small businesses, is that you guys had to adapt through the change. And it's like, okay, like in what ways can we continue to sell our product, to get our stuff out there, but still be able to go by these guidelines and not break any rules. And you said you guys even got served. I feel like that's a big struggle that a lot of small businesses go through, but I'm just so thankful that you guys were able to make it past that and not have to, shut down or permanently like lose the store and everything that you guys have worked so hard for. In terms of like, employees, was that something that you guys had to talk about in terms of like letting people go? Were you guys able to kind of keep everyone so that way everyone still had a little income coming?
Well, what ended up happening is during that time, it was still only family based. So like I said, all my family members have their own jobs, careers, their own things going on. So for the most part, this was always like, they just enjoyed coming to help me and be involved. And it was just an extra thing for them to do. So we didn't really have employees per se. But because my family members, they did get, laid off because things shut down. They obviously spent more time with us. And it was just more about, you know what, let's take this as an opportunity, because when we first opened the shop, everything just happened. Like, I just remember being like, okay, grand opening, this and that. And then before you know it, it just was nonstop. And we just events, this, that, we do pop-up booths at all of the smaller raves that are local, with the evil twins that would throw. We would just do like pop-up booths where we'd go out there and take our booth and sell, our glasses and LED products. And so I'm sorry. I'm like, what was I talking about?
Oh, you're good. Your family supporting you.
So because of all of those things, it did actually get a setback because inventory would keep coming in. Everything was still kind of a mess. So we actually thought of it as like a blessing in disguise. You know what? We have a couple months to get it together, to really catch up, because for being a new business, everything was moving so fast for us that it gave us an opportunity to slow down, clean up shop, clean up inventory, clean up like just the way our method of doing everything. And I think it turned out for the best. And it was also great for our website because we just launched. I just went through all that to launch the website. And it was such perfect timing the way it happened that it was almost like it really gave our website a chance to be known and grow. And so I really kind of took that as that. But family-wise and employee-wise, it wasn't until the only person that, aside from that family, was the web developers. And they were able to work remotely. We would Zoom just like we are, you know what I mean? We would have Zoom conversations and just get everything built. And that was the main priority during that. And as we got closer to winter, like I said, the certain customers that became friends that started coming around more and more to help us, we ended up being like, you know what, you should work here. We're kind of still, picking up, but we knew we were going to get busy once everything reopened and we wanted to be prepared. So, yeah.
That is so nuts to think that because so many different smoke shops, like their website wasn't able to be up because of, legal things, that you guys were able to like prosper and survive because of your team. I feel like that's so cool and is, I feel like that's why people that kind of work behind the scenes are so important, but that's insane to me. When you guys created the drop or even thought of the idea, did you guys envision it being like this, or do you guys open it up as a smoke shop first and then you guys kind of integrated like all things rave, things with the community and art?
Well, I think the way it happened, I'm actually from Reno. And so back home, there's two smoke shops out there. One's called Hippies and one is called the Melting Pot. And so I've been a hippie my whole life, and I would love to go to these smoke shops, but they weren't your traditional, like, when you go in a smoke shop, you walk in and there's just rows of glass and a couple incense and then you pay and that's it. These two particular stores were fun, like interactive, like colorful, fun stuff everywhere. And I used to love that. That was like my thing. So when I came to Vegas, I would search and search for a store like that. Like, how this is Vegas? How's there not a store like that? And I never found one. And so Rob and I, we were already both on the same page. We both had, savings. We both had a whole idea. Like we want to start a business. Well, what's it going to be? We literally would sit there with a notebook and be like, taco truck, clothing store, smoke shop, rave store, like, all the different ideas. And we didn't really know exactly where we were going to go. But we were both really big on the smoke shop idea because that's something we have mostly in common. So we decided to go smoke shop, and that was the plan. We had other ideas about rave store, clothing store, food truck, this and that. So when I went to my business advisor, I found a business advisor. This is before I even filed licenses, anything. I was like, what do I do? I want to start a business. And he's like, okay, well, what do you want to do? So I had my notebook and I was like, well, a taco truck, a clothing store, a smoke shop, a this, that. And he goes, stop right now. First of all, you're moving too fast. He's like, I need you to go home, take your notebook, circle one of those and come back when you know which one it is. He's only one. He's like, you're literally overthinking yourself. You can't do all 10. You're going to fail if you try to do all 10 at once, because you have to be able to focus on one thing, one niche, one, project, and then execute it. And then you can move to the next. He's like, if you try to do 10 things at once, like you only have 2 arms, you can't. So I was like, okay, darn. So I go back home. I tell Rob, like, he says we have to pick one. We can't do all of these, So we agreed on smoke shop. So I go back and I'm like, okay, smoke shop. And he's like, all right, this is what you do. File your licenses, da, 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 da. So I go and I do all of that. Now we're only going to do a smoke shop for the first part, but we knew we wanted to do rave. We knew we wanted to do clothing store. We knew food, this and that, but we were just like, okay, smoke shop. So then I had to become my own realtor, because when I tried to find commercial realtors, they wouldn't call me back. I don't know, like they would slack off. Like I had this guy sending me lists of locations. I was going to meet him. He had an excuse every time, like, oh, my dog fell in the pool. Oh, my phone broke. Oh, my this. I was like, what kind of realtor are you? So I took it upon myself to drive around the city and literally find my own commercial locations and call the owners and set up, viewings. And I found this location and it was so crazy how perfect it was. I was amazed. And it's such a big space. You've been here. It's such a big space. And I was like, you know what? We can do so much more with this. So once we signed the paperwork, him and I both talked and we were like, you know what? We'll get the smoke shop, but there's room to grow. So all our other aspirations are gonna come in because we have the room to do it. As soon as we see the lot, we're like, we're gonna do events one day. We're gonna do this one day, but we're gonna listen to the business advisor and do one thing, file the papers and go smoke shop first. But then as EDC came around and we went and we had so much fun, we were like, you know what, let's do the rave too. Like, not screw what he says, but we can do it. You know what I mean? Like, just because he says we can't, we could do this. We could do the smoke shop and the rave. So we actually called one of our really good friends, Rolo, because he's deep in the rave scene, like way before us. He's been a raver since he was born. Like his parents rave. Like that's just kind of how it is. So he helped us to narrow down our vendors and start getting all our orders in. And then, we just made that happen. So when we opened, we were literally opening as a smoke shop and a rave store. Like that's how we opened. And it wasn't the plan to do it like all together. It was more, we wanted to do a smoke shop. We wanted to open a rave store, but then the space just allowed us to bring everything in. And then as time progressed and we started meeting more people in the community, we just were like, we can do events here. We can get involved with the artists. And the craziest part was exotic pop. So, we're known for the exotic pop, right? That's like one of our most popular.
The drinks?
Yes, exotic pop right here. So if you guys don't know, go follow Exotic Pop Las Vegas, because all the different variety of sodas. And the crazy part is when we were introduced to Exotic Pop, one of our employees, Cosby, he just was a friend, a customer, always coming in, talking, good company. He ended up knowing somebody, a representative for Exotic Pop, and they were looking for a location in Las Vegas. They wanted to be in Las Vegas. They just didn't know where. And he mentioned us to them. He said, you know what? I think that this store would be cool. So they come in. I had no idea what Exotic Pop was, nothing. Like, they walked in the door and they were like, yes, this is perfect. Yes, let's do it. And I'm like, do what? Like, what's going on? And they're like, we think you should put exotic sodas in here, this and that. And at the time, I was so open to everything. I was like, yes, okay, let's do it. Like, I just was so super open with consignment too, because one thing about being a business owner is you have to purchase your inventory up front. You have to pay for it up front. And if it doesn't sell quick enough, you're sitting on money. If you have to reduce the prices, there's a lot of risk with investing in inventory, right? So consignment was really huge for me because it allows my vendors to give me the inventory at almost like they let me borrow it. And then I sell it. And once it's sold, I pay them their cut and I keep my cut, right? So that's how consignment ended up working out so well. They said, you know what, just take the sodas, see how they work, and you're going to do well. Brought the sodas in, and I didn't know so many people love soda and like the exotic sodas. And so now we're just like a huge exotic pop vendor in Las Vegas. And that had nothing to do with our business plan. And it's actually brought in us so much success with our community and marketing and just being able to be known, nationwide. It's just been such a blessing, but just so unplanned, and I just love the way everything turned out.
Yeah, I've never had exotic pop. Is it just like flavored soda, or you just put it into your water, right?
No, well, so this is actually one that I'm drinking right now. It's a Minute Maid berry punch. So they're pretty much flavors that you can't find locally. So we get like sodas from Japan, Korea. We get like the white peach Fantas. We get pink Pepsis, like blue Pepsis, Canada Dry vanilla cream, just tons of different sodas that are super exotic that are hard to find, or sodas from the East Coast, like the big shots, the bigs. It's just pretty much flavors that you can't find. And then now we've ventured into snacks. So now we have all kinds of crazy snacks from Thailand. We have Kit Kats, like orange Kit Kat, strawberry Kit Kat.
Ooh.
Yeah, just like a lot of really cool snacks too.
Oh, that's awesome. I feel like that kind of, that kind of checks off like some of the stuff that was on your list that you were showing to your business advisor, like taco truck. Well, snacks are close enough for now, I guess, but that's awesome. I didn't know you guys even carried the snacks, let alone the exotic pop.
Yeah, we have a really big, it's been a while. You got to come down. It's been a while since you've been here, but I know with COVID, things are just starting to pick up and people are getting out. So we pretty much just did a full restock. Now that everything's open, we've just like loaded the store up. So we have a lot of stuff to choose from.
Oh, I'm so excited. That's so cool. I feel like you guys kind of, followed your dreams in terms of creating this vision. Would you say that like even getting started, how did you guys do that? Did you guys have to save up a whole bunch of money, or you guys took whatever you had in your savings and were like, okay, this is what we're going to do? Or did you guys have to like borrow money from, family or like the bank?
Actually, I want to say we're both very blessed that we were able to work really hard and save our money. We both had great opportunities before COVID. I was working for the nightclub industry, which was really, really good money for me. I was smart enough to save it all. Rob has multiple he had multiple careers. He was a boxing trainer. He had he was co-owner with his dad in Texas of a construction type of company, and building homes and things like that. So we both were able to save our money, and we got together one day and we're like, you know what, we need to invest. And we had a plan, we're going to be together. And my whole thought process, and his as well, is like, why spend $40,000 on a wedding, for one day? Like, let's just invest that in a business, because that already is a commitment to each other. Once you own a business together, you're a lot more committed to each other on paper than you are through marriage. So that was a really big thing for us to, I was like, I'd rather let's build something together and be our own boss, but also do what we love and what we're passionate about. Because I actually read a book in college. I went to college, yes, and I read this book, and my teacher, I was going to be a dentist. That was literally, I was going to be a biology major. I was like, I'm going to be a dentist. This is what I'm going to do. And calculus made me depressed. I'm not going to lie.
That's a hard class.
I was crying every day. It was depressing. Like, I hated it. And I just was like, I don't know. And I felt like maybe if I could have skipped all that and went straight into dentistry, maybe I would have felt different. But I was like, I don't want to do this. And I switched my major a few times. And then when I got into business, my English teacher, or my business teacher, had me read this book called Finding the Open Road, which is a really good book. And it had a lot to do with basically going for a career that makes you happy, that you're going to not feel like you're at work every day. Even when you're working your ass off, like, you don't feel like you're at work every day slaving away. And that really clicked in my mind. After that, I was like, you know what? Like, it's not about the money. The money will always come if you're passionate about what you're doing. And I think that was just, once I set my mind to that and Rob set his mind to that, we both just knew we wanted to do something that was going to, fulfill us and feel good about it every day. So,
yeah. How old were you guys when you guys decided to create the drop, get a business license?
2017, August was when we filed it, but we were already planning it from 2016. So a year before that, I was 26 and he's actually 5 years older than me. So he was 30, or he's actually, wait, hold on. He was
31.
So yeah, he was 31 and I was 26 when we were like just jotting down notes. Like, we would just, be smoking, hanging out, whatever, and just start writing, like, what should we do? Like, just like dreaming, writing down what could we do. Then it was summer of 2017 that I met with the business advisor and was like, how do we take this to the next step? Let's make it happen. And then it was August when I filed the paperwork. And so that's when we filed our business license. And then that was August of 2017. October, November is when we searched for location. December, we signed the lease and we set our grand opening for March of 2018. So that was the grand opening. That was the birth of the drop. And I was 28 and Rob was 33. And yeah, I'm super blessed to be able to have become a business owner at 28 years old and just have that opportunity, and it's just been such a great experience for sure.
Absolutely. And that's why I'm kind of picking your guys' brains, because I knew that you guys were young. And so just getting an idea of how you guys even started your business as a young entrepreneur, I think is really interesting, because a lot of people our age or even younger would like to do something like this, quit their 9 to 5 or quit whatever job they had. Like for you, example, you said you used to work like in the nightclub industry and now you have your own business. And I mean, I'm guessing you can, I don't want to say do whatever you want, but you have more freedom in terms of
Let me cut you off right there.
Okay, let's hear it.
Total opposite. When you think you're quitting a 9 to 5 to be your own boss, now you're working 24/7. Like I work, I wake up in the morning, I check emails, I check orders, I get in contact with vendors, customers. I get to work. I work the whole entire day. I get off. I go home, I place orders, I do emails, I follow up with customers, Instagram, social media, the web developer meetings. Like there is never a day off. There's never a moment off. Like even when think it's my day off, I'm laying in bed on my laptop, like, okay, you know what I mean? And that's a day off. So I think one thing that people do need to know is that when you think, you're going to quit your 9 to 5 to be a business owner and be your own boss, like, yes, you will, but you have to expect to work 20 times harder than you would at a 9 to 5, because what happens is when it becomes your business, you care about it way more, than when you're working for somebody else. You can slack off like, oh, I don't care. I'm hungover today, whatever. And that used to happen to me all the time, But when it's your own business, you don't want to slack off because you don't want to be late. You can't call in. I can't call in to work. Even on my worst day, I cannot call in to work because I have yet, 3 years later, I have a great team, but I have yet to reach a point of comfort with leaving my business completely. Like I can't even leave it unless Rob's here. I'll have a day where I'm not here. But him and I have not taken a vacation together where let's go be gone for a week and leave the company, because we haven't reached that point yet. And we're 3 years in, So I think that that's something people who are inspired or want to start a business, be prepared to literally work your ass off. And you have to be able to have self-discipline, because now you don't have a boss yelling at you or telling you you're in trouble or you're going to get fired, you're on a point system. Like you have to be your own boss. You have to drag yourself out of bed. You have to make sure that you're motivated and happy and up every single day, ready to go. So that has been a huge eye-opener for me, for sure. And even like on the 3-year anniversary, you would think on the 3-year anniversary, we're like running around, having fun, partying. Nope. It was a great blessing. I had a line out the door the entire time. The best day of sales history of the drop. It was so great. Thank you to everybody who supported. But I was behind that register, like, you know what I mean? Ringing people up the whole time. And our special guest was like, he even says like, you guys need to hire employees. Like you guys should be like hanging out and having fun. I'm like, dude, we have employees and they're all working hard too. And we're very hands-on with what we do. And we love our customers. We love our company. Our customers love us. Like they want to see us. We're not just going to be here and, lollygag. Like we want to show our community, like what we bring, what we're here, what we're doing. So it was just like, a lot of people were kind of confused. Like, why are you guys working? Why are you behind the register? Well, that's what we do, and maybe one day eventually we'll be able to have that time. But I love my customers and I love to be able to interact with them and, get to know the faces. I actually have people where I've learned their faces. They come so often and we've been able to become friends just off of seeing them every day. I watch their kids grow up. I'm like, wow, this is crazy, So.
Absolutely. And I can respect you guys so much more just from you saying that. I didn't mean to make it sound like earlier that you guys are just here with all this money, like having fun. Like, I think for sure what you said, when it's yours, you're going to work a billion times harder. When you're your own boss, you're not going to call off of work because it's your work. And in the end, you don't want to slack. But also, I think that eventually you guys will become so successful and reach that point where you guys can leave the store for a week or two and not have to worry. But I think that's the thing is when you're a boss or when you own something, you're never really off. You can't just clock out and not think about work until the next day.
Mm-hmm. No, you can't, especially when there's continuous things in your mind. Like I don't even listen to the radio when I drive anymore because
what do you listen to?
The thoughts in my head.
Wow.
All the millions of things that I need to get done. I'm like driving and I'm seriously just like in my mind. It's so funny. But yeah, that's like what happens. And I find myself if I have a passenger, they're like, can we put the radio? I'm like, oh yeah, sorry. I didn't even realize because I'm like in my mind, like, okay, this, check. And I have to like organize my thoughts, so it's it's an odd thing, but yeah. I mean, I still listen to music, but when you're on the go, that's how it works.
Yeah. I imagine you being so so task oriented and having to do so much, do you have a system that you use? Like, do you do a planner or do you use something online to kind of create little lists for you?
Well, okay. So I do have reminders. I have a calendar. I have like 3 planners, and all my planners are exploding with stuff. I use a sticky note method. So I have a whole bucket of sticky notes, and every time I need to do this, I write it on a sticky note and I stick it. And my desk becomes infested with sticky notes. And that's when I'm like, okay, grab the sticky note. Like, what do you got to do? What do you got to do? And I have to, and if I check, then I can throw it away. So when I see sticky notes everywhere, I'm like, oh my God, get it together. Like this, you know what I mean? It helps me see that I have so much, because putting it in a agenda is one thing. Putting it in your phone is another thing. But then the sticky notes on top of that, just everywhere to see them and remind you, it really helps. And then I do have, like I said, a great team. My family is very helpful. So my sister and my cousin, they've been so helpful. I'm always like, hey, please take a note of this. And they do, and they take notes and they help me to remember things. So I just try to really get as much done. And that's what I was saying, like Rob and I, when we get home from work, we get home probably 10 p.m. or so. We'll go home and we sit in our kitchen at our big table, and we probably work for another 3 or 4 hours. We're on our computer. We have notebooks. We're writing. We're planning 6 months in advance events. We're ordering 6 months in advance inventory. We're anticipating what the next, thing we're going to do is, what we have to fix. We're consistently just trying to write down all those notes. And we've made it a system too, where at night, it makes us feel better if we can at least talk about 10 things we need to get done tomorrow, and we write it down
at night.
Yeah.
Before you guys go to bed.
Yeah. So that way in the morning we have a clear mind, like, okay, you're going to go here, here, and here and get this, and this. I'm going to go here, here, here and get this, and this. We got to do this, and this. Because if you don't talk about that, which there were times where we wouldn't, because we'd go home and be so tired, we'd just pass out. The next morning, everything's a fog. We're foggy. We're like, what are we supposed to do? So it is so helpful to have those, those meetings that we have every night, and just try to really grasp the next day and the next week. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's smart that you guys plan your days ahead of time. I feel like that would save you guys so much time, and is only better to be that organized, for sure. What advice would you have for young entrepreneurs?
My main advice would be, like I said, be willing and ready to work hard, because it's not easy. It's not a walk in the park. There's so many challenges that just come, things you literally don't expect that would be on your list. I just got a call from OSHA the other day, and OSHA is the organization who protects employee rights in the country, so employees have rights. And obviously, as an employer, you have to abide by certain rules and regulations, and making sure that your employees, are taken care of. And there's a lot to it. And I knew about OSHA. I've always known. When they called me and they wanted me to do a whole assessment and all these things that they want to make sure that I have situated, I was like, I didn't even cross my mind about that. The fire department, coming in and wanting to make sure that our fire extinguishers, we have an evacuation plan, like just so much things that you don't expect that you have to do. And then the crazy part is my credit card processor will just decide that it wants to shut off out of nowhere. So then you're on the phone for hours getting the credit card processor to work again. So there's always so much. It never ends. It's continuous. And when you fix the problem, 3 months later, the credit card processor stops working again. Now you're on the phone for hours again. It's like you have to be willing and patient enough to deal with each challenge that comes your way and not give up, even when you feel like there's so much weight on your shoulders. You have to just keep pushing. And I think if you start with an idea and you think you can't even manifest it, I will mention SCORE. SCORE is a Las Vegas business mentorship program. And it's been the highlight of my success. And I'm so grateful to them. I was actually recommended to them by the SBA, the Small Business Administration. So what they do is they have volunteers, and the volunteers are all like 60 and up. They're all retired, successful business owners who have retired and they want to volunteer their time to young entrepreneurs, or it doesn't matter what age, just to entrepreneurs, to give you the advice and hold your hand through the process at no cost. And
oh my gosh,
yeah,
SBA?
yes. So SCORE is the organization. Yes. And I found them. The crazy part was when I was first looking for business advisors, they were all asking for thousands of dollars. I was interviewing, trying to figure out who was going to be my business advisor. And then when the SBA recommended SCORE to me, I set up an appointment with them, and my trust went into them because the fact that somebody who is a successful retired business owner wants to give you their help at no cost, I trust them because they don't want money from me. So if they're trying to give me their advice and their help, they're going to really, really give me the truth, and I've gone to them consistently and they have literally walked me through everything. Like they were the ones who helped me fill out all my paperwork, helped me understand. And whenever I have questions, I can call them and they'll set me up. They have different people in different departments. So they have like someone who specializes in retail, someone who specializes in taxes, someone who specializes in marketing. And you can set up with these different people and have like an hour, talk and lay it out for them. This is what I need help with, and they'll help you. And so there's resources out there. And I think that I had no idea how to start a business. We didn't know what we were going to do. We just knew we wanted to. And it was just about research, trial and error, like so much trial and error. And you learn and you keep going. And when there's a roadblock, like once you're in, it's like you have no choice but to keep pushing, because failure is not an option. And I refuse to fail. And that's the only thing that can keep you going, is just knowing once you set your mind to it, like there is no turning back,
Right. What do you do when you have those days? Well, that's if you even have them. But when you have those days where you just want to quit and give up, where you're like, I can't do this. This is overwhelming. There's too much on my plate. How do you deal with that?
I have those days a lot. I'm not going to lie. And I've actually told people, it looks easy the way we present ourselves on social media, and we're all dancing around and having fun. And that's obviously because that's what you don't want people to see you stressed. You don't want people to see, the challenges that you're going through, because you want everything to be a great experience for your viewers and supporters, right? But the behind the scenes, yes, like I have my days. A lot of times I think I just try to meditate and clear my mind. And like I said, my family has been here from the beginning. I love them so much because I've had my days where I'm, like I said, I want to quit, I want to give up. And then I just turn to them and they kind of pep talk me like back to like, no, like me and my sisters actually have this saying, like when we're feeling like we can't do something, we're like, I'm a bad bitch, I'm a bad bitch, I'm a bad bitch, or I'll tell my sister like, no, you're a bad bitch. Like you got this, and so whenever I'm feeling like I'm going to quit, or I can't, like, they're just like, no, you're a bad bitch. Like, you got this, and I'm like, okay, you're right. And I've had my days, and it's for some reason, there's always just been like one of my family members right there, or Robin and I will balance each other out. Like he'll have his days and I'm like, no, it's all good. Like we got this. I'll have my days. And he's like, no, so we haven't had too many where we're both on the negative, where we both want to quit. There might have been a couple times. And to be honest, luckily our family just comes through and keeps us believing in ourselves, and it's always good to have a support system for sure.
100%. I think that was kind of the backbone for you guys since the beginning, which is incredible. Just hearing your guys' story, that's so inspirational. And I feel like it's really motivating, because for anyone that's working hard towards something that has goals, whether it be like career-wise or hobby-wise, I feel like in the end, the key really is to just not give up and to stay consistent.
Yes. So consistency and determination. That's literally the two. That's my belief in anything you want to accomplish, is determination and consistency. If you can stay determined and just stay consistent, you'll get somewhere, But if you break the consistency, you're already setting yourself back.
Agreed. What's your dream for the drop? What do you want it to be eventually?
Well, the ultimate dream, like I said, has been we've just wanted to be a tourist attraction. And I believe we're very well on our way there. We want everybody in the country to be like, we're going to Vegas, we have to stop at the drop. Like, oh, you're going to Vegas, make sure you go to the drop. You're going to EDC, make sure you go to the drop. You know, you're whatever it may be. Like, we want people to want to come here and want to experience what we have to offer. We are looking into expanding. We not just yet, but it is an idea in the works. We definitely want to expand and, you know, either get a second location, maybe even on the strip or in the mall or something super. There's a lot of different ideas. We haven't set exactly what our ultimate plan is, but of course we want to expand. This isn't all we want to do for sure. Like I said, we want to eventually be able to throw our own festivals. I would love to be here's this rave presented by The Drop and have those ties and really be able to throw raves, throw festivals, get bigger with events, build our brand. So one thing is and that was one thing that the business advisor had mentioned to me in the beginning as well, was our brand, in order, we wanted to make our clothing line and all these things. And he said the same thing. He said, you have to make a presence known before you think you're going to sell your brand. People need to know and want your brand. So if you go and make a bunch of stuff that says The Drop and nobody knows what The Drop is, nobody's going to buy the stuff that says The Drop because there's no meaning behind it, you know? So we kind of took that and we said, you know what? As a retail store, the one thing that retailers get to do is resell other brands. So we pretty much took that into consideration and said, well, why don't we pretty much scout big brands, but also small brands, because we're still big on supporting upcoming entrepreneurs just like ourselves, but also people like Rave Wonderland, Amazing Lights, Glow FX, Cookies, Exotic Pop, all these big time brands. We pretty much took those in, which wasn't easy. Like I said, Exotic Pop did walk in our front door, and that was a blessing to us. But every other brand was not a walk in the park, like Rave Wonderland, Cookies. Like, we had to have multiple phone calls and emails sent. We had to show up to trade shows. We had to actually go to LA, walk into Rave Wonderland, talk to the owner, like present to him a presentation, a layout of what we want to do to get him to agree to be our vendor. Same thing with Cookies. They ignored us for about a whole year. They literally, no response, nothing. And we showed up to the trade show and we went in there 3 times with like presentations, like, this is why Cookies should be in our store. And they said, you know what, we'll give you guys a chance. And this is way before Burner blew up. I mean, he was already a big deal. Cookies was already a big deal in California, but he hadn't even opened a dispensary yet when we got this whole, he just had his brand in other dispensaries. So when we signed the contract, it was like perfect timing. And then he blew up and now he's like on the Forbes list. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a big deal that we have these brands. So it was just kind of like everything just kind of worked out the way that it did. But we had to really put in the work to get all these brands in here. So back to the whole point of what we want to see for The Drop is, we figured that by the time we made our presence known and the community knows who we are, now we're starting to drop our own capsules and our own branding of clothing, and we're going to make more accessories. So now the ultimate goal is to really build The Drop into its own brand. And we're also adding sister brands, I guess you can say, that like would follow behind The Drop as well.
That's awesome. Oh my God. I think I actually saw that you guys had some type of, I want to say it was some type of drink that you would mix. It looked like it came in a little cough syrup container, but it was CBD and it said The Drop.
Yes. Yeah. So that's what we did was we that was by Breathe Alive. So we did a collaboration and we actually made our own 1,000 milligram CBDA nightcap. So that was our first step into branding our own, I guess, cannabis-based type of product. But what we've done as well is like the mini drip that we collaborated with Broken. It's a battery, like a vape battery, so you can attach a cartridge to it. We got those made with the drop on them. We're pretty much just trying to collaborate with our vendors and create our own brand of the drop this, the drop that. And I think that now is like the perfect time, because now that people know who we are, this is actually the drop mini tank right here. So it's a vape battery, and this is powered by Roken. So originally we sold these without the drop. They became so popular that we decided to make our own. So this is like our own packaging and everything. The mini
that
drip
is so dope.
Yeah, and then this is the syrup that you were just talking about. So
yeah.
CBD syrup. Yeah. So ultimately now we're just branding out. We want to have more products with our name on it, and even, be able to eventually get those products into other stores, where we can distribute, because we have also opened another business. It's called Zaza Distribution. Yeah. So meanwhile, we just threw in another business established of fall. So I want to say it was like September of 2020 during the pandemic, because what happened was, like I said, with the exotic pop, we sell so much of it, and we were the only retailer in Las Vegas. Well, it turned out that so many other smoke shops and stores want exotic pop in their stores that we collaborated with the owners of Exotic Pop. We created our own distribution. It's called Zaza Distribution. And we now distribute to other retail stores. We have about 7 locations in Las Vegas, and we are their distributor, and they carry Exotic Pop. So you can actually find Exotic Pop at multiple locations in Vegas now. And with that being said, we want to expand our distribution with products like this, that we can also, branch out and send our product to other locations. So we're more than retailing. We want to, basically all our competitors, we are turning them into partners. And instead of competing with each other, it's like, let's serve the community together,
Absolutely. And in the end, I think that'll make you guys more successful, hyping each other up, because more eyes on both you guys with both of your clients and customers, for sure.
Yeah.
So last question, how do you guys think of the name The Drop?
So it's actually a funny story, because back to when we were going to originally be just a smoke shop, we were trying, the hardest part, I want to say, besides the website situation to the business, was coming up with a name. That was the hardest part. Seriously, I'm not even going to lie. When I had to file the paperwork, I sat there with Rob at home, like, what's our name going to be? Like, what are we going to be? And we kept, writing down all these ideas. And we actually started a corporation and umbrellaed our retail store. We wanted to umbrella it, because if you have a corporation, you can add multiple stores to it, or multiple businesses. And if you decide one doesn't work, you can add a different DBA, and you don't have to refile all the paperwork. So we pretty much had to come up with our corporation name, and that was so hard. And what we ended up doing was using the first 3 letters of my last name and the first 3 letters of his last name, which my last name is Romero and his is Suarez. So we just did ROMSUA. So it's Romsua Inc. That's our corporation. And we just said, what, screw it. We're tired of thinking, let's just do that. So then it was like, okay, now what's the store going to be called? And before we ultimately went with, it's also a Rave store, because we thought we were going to find a small location. We didn't think we were going to get such a big location. So we're just thinking, okay, smoke shop. So we went with Era 420. And the reason why was because cannabis was about to be legal. So cannabis became legal in 2018, recreational anyways. So it was still only medicinal in 2017. So that's when we were still thinking of a name. And we're like, well, weed is about to be legal. So it's going to be the era. Like, it's going to be a new era of cannabis. Like, why don't we go with Era 420? Like, it sounded cool, the Era 420. Mm-hmm. So I actually filed the paperwork as Era 420 and started everything like that. And then when we got the location and we decided, wow, we have enough room to really like, we can do the Rave store too. Like, let's do it. We decided to do that too. Then it was a back and forth of like, okay, are we going to file 2 business licenses under one roof? Are we going to have to make 2 signs? Like, what's the Rave store going to be called? And we were trying to figure that out. And our friend Rolo, the one I told you, who really like, he's like our rave buddy. It's crazy. We don't see him ever at all. And then we see him once a year. We meet up to go to EDC. We all walk into EDC together. And then we lose each other and we never see each other until next year. There's not even like a goodbye or not, like we just the next year, it's like, hey, you know what I mean? So,
really?
So he came around during the time we were going to open because he was out here for a couple months. So it was like perfect timing to have his help. We were just like, what should the name be? What should the name be? And I just remember we were just kind of like vibing out and we're talking about, you know, when you feel the drop, like we're just like, and then it just like all of a sudden he was just like, the drop. What do you guys think? And we're like, you know what? So shout out to Rolo because he's the creator. He's the reason why we're called The Drop, because the whole conversation had nothing to do about what our store name should be. We were just talking about like rave and this and that. And you know, when you feel the drop and like it feels great, blah, blah. And then that's just when it clicked. And we're like, you know what? Because Area 420 is perfect for a smoke shop, but that doesn't relate to Rave, Area 420 Rave store. Like, no. So then the Drop, we're like the Drop Rave store. So then we were like, what are we going to be? The Drop Rave store and Area 420 smoke shop? Like, okay. We're like, let's just get rid of Area 420 and let's just be the Drop, because now the Drop can be a rave store. It could be a smoke shop. It could be a vape. We were also going to have a vape lounge and we set it up, but we ended up removing the vape lounge because we wanted more room for merch and stuff. But we were like, we could improvise when we have events, then we'll bust out a lounge, you know? So yeah, that's how the name The Drop was brought in. And we just loved it. It ended up being so perfect. And yeah, I'm actually super excited that that's what we went with.
Absolutely. And when I hear the name The Drop, I think immediately of dubstep or EDM, because it's like, there's a whole bunch of like older songs that kind of are classics now, like Let the Bass Drop. Like you hear that all the time. I mean, my username is freaking Bassdropprincess. That's how much I like love dubstep and EDM. So that's so awesome that you guys were able to curate some of your biggest passions like together and actually be successful.
Yeah, it's been such a dream come true. And like, it's just crazy how I believe so much in manifestation. And I believe so much in just keeping your focus on what you want, and the universe literally will bring it to you like one way or another, you know. And it's just been super cool to watch everything just before my eyes, you know, and seeing our 3-year anniversary is just like, it's just been so like heartwarming to see the community and how much support we've gotten over the years. And it's just so cool. Definitely. And I'm excited. I'm so excited. I feel like our rave Instagram and like our rave scene kind of like died down just because there wasn't too much going on over the last year with raves. And now that things are reopening, I'm just super excited to really get out there more than we were before. And I'm kind of planning on collaborating with other brands. I'm hoping, you know, I actually met the owner of Rolita Couture, and, you know,
I love Rosa.
Yes, she's so cool. And I definitely want to collaborate with her. And, you know, we're talking about getting her brand in here and just kind of cross networking. I just think that that'll be so cool because I love how her clothing is designed on top of just the regular sizes for bigger sizes, because Rave Wonderland is a really cool brand, but the sizing is not, there's very limited to size, you know what I mean? And I want to be able to offer multiple, you know, items to multiple people, you know, so that's just kind of like, I'm definitely excited to get more brands in here and really pick that up.
100%. And in the end, that's what's really cool about the rave community too, is everyone is actually very willing to help each other and make each other successful. So I'm very, very stoked for what you guys have in store.
Yes.
So lastly, I know you have some candy on your arm. Can you kind of tell us about one of the best candies ever that you've received?
Well, I want to say that one of the best ones, the funny thing is I have like all these really, I don't know if you can see them, like really cute, like different ones. Some are super fancy, but this one right here, which is like the most like basic, just like plastic one. I know this is not a rave DJ or anything, but Post Malone is like one of my favorite artists. I know it has nothing to do with rave, but he did perform at EDC in 2018, I believe it was. And that was like my main, like, I need to go see Post Malone. Like, it has to happen. Like, I'm going to see Post Malone. And we did. We went and we got to see him. And I just remember there was this girl. She was like really, really messed up, like really messed up. And she was like sitting by herself, like super confused. And like, I just kind of went up to her like, hey, are you okay? Like, do you need anything? Do you need any water? And I gave her water. And I don't know, I felt like I kind of revived her and was able to get her to like wake up. And I remembered because when I seen her, it reminded me of my first time at EDC, like, you know what I mean? When you're just like out of it. So I helped revive her. And then her friend came like, there she is. Oh my God. Like, you know, when your friends get lost or whatever. So they were so like grateful that I kind of took her under my wing. And I feel like that's what it is. That's what the rave community is about, is helping each other always, you know, to take care of each other. And so their friend actually gave me this one and just, you know, was kind of like, you know, thank you so much for taking care of her. And we did that was when I learned the first time you know what I mean? I did it before and I was like, oh my God, this is so cool, I'm doing this. And it was like Post Malone was playing. There was like billions of people. And it was my sister's first time at EDC. I had took her too. And it was just like such a great vibe. And she gave me this and like, I never seen or heard them again. And this was actually the first candy exchange like that I ever got. Like I've never did like, you know, with someone who wasn't a friend, like a stranger, you know.
Your first candy ever. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was just like, I don't know. And it's funny that I still have it. And I was like, you know what? Like this one just kind of like reminds me of like unity and, you know, just taking care of each other. And it was just like cool that I got to help her, where other times it was like me, like on the floor eating the chicken finger, like trying to wake up, you know? So
yeah,
a really cool one to get. Yeah. And then some of these other ones I have are just different random ones that I've gotten. But this one here, we actually sell candy here at the Drop as well. This is by 26 Designs. What's cool is I know that candy is meant to be like for exchange and a gift. And some people kind of had a controversy about us selling candy in the store and being like, well, why are you selling it? People are supposed to trade it. Well, my whole thought process on it was before you trade it, you buy the beads to make it yourself, or people are supposed to make them themselves. You know what I mean? To give. And I love that whole concept, but some people don't have time to make their own candy,
That's
you know?
right.
So it's great to have really good artists who can make really cool pieces, and we have them available. So people last minute are going to EDC or going to a rave and you don't have time to make candy. You could come in here and pick up, you know, a piece that's really made and it's good quality. And just like I said, again, I love supporting local artists or small entrepreneurs. So all the candy that I sell in here is made by Las Vegas candy makers or 26 Designs. She's actually based in Utah. So I met her at a craft show, and she actually had a craft show for her daughter. So her and her daughter make these together. And she just took them to a craft show to sell them. And I was like, you know what? These are so perfect. So I had her make some that say EDC. It says EDC Las Vegas. And this one, where is it? This one's really cool because it has, let me try to get it. Will not mess it up. It actually has a real pink quartz crystal on it. Oh, wait, I'm trying to show the camera. See the pink quartz crystal? And then it has like a gold locket, and you can put a picture in there. I haven't put a picture in there yet, but you know, so these designs are super unique. They're not just your regular, you know, basic beads. Like I said, this is one of my favorites and it's so simple, but you know, it's cool to get something super cool and fun. And yeah, you can come find all of these here if you need last minute candy.
Yes, and I love those. I'm actually in support of like people selling candy. And I understand that, yes, of course, like, it's the meaning behind it and all that. But like what you said, it's definitely dependent on that person's lifestyle. If they have kids, if they have two jobs, like sometimes people really don't have the time. And some of those candies from those artists that you showed me remind me of the candies that I make, because I deck mine out. I put all these charms. I put, all these crazy looking designs, and those are really unique. And I feel like it should be treated as a special piece as well, because in the end, it's really what's the meaning of play that kind of holds the candy together.
Yeah, it's the moment. So even if you have to buy it because you don't have time to make it yourself, it's when you're in the moment and you're trading it with a stranger or somebody, and you know what I mean? It's about that experience. And I love that so much, that the whole candy exchange is even a thing, because it's just such a cool experience to have and be able to have that moment. So I love it a lot, definitely.
Yes, absolutely. And it's, like you said, it's about that bond, and that candy just kind of cements that bond when you transfer it over. So I absolutely love that.
Yes.
Yeah. So Marie, thank you so much for being on Best Candy Ever. Drop where people can find you, find the drop.
So we have a few Instagram pages. Our main Rave page is going to be the drop_Rave. Our next page is the drop_LV. That's where you kind of find more of our smoke shop, exotic pop, and streetwear. My Instagram is VIDA_YRA. It's a whole nother story of how I ended up with that as my Instagram name. But those are pretty much our pages. Our website's www.thedroplv.com. And you can subscribe as well to our newsletters to get any type of information for upcoming events, discounts. We do ship. So if there's anything that anybody wants, we can ship it out as well. And I'm so excited as well because we do shuffle workshops. So Vegas Flow is coming back. We're going to have shuffle workshops. Anybody wants to learn how to shuffle. We do flow art classes where we have professional flow artists come and teach you how to tut, how to do poi, how to really get some tricks in there. Just so many other events that we're going to have coming up. So definitely follow, and we'll have a lot in store for everybody.
100%. And I'm going to link all of that below too in the caption so that everyone can find you guys.
Yes. And thank you for having me on. I've been watching your podcast throughout this time, and I know that it brought a lot of people entertainment during COVID and just able to keep the community. And like, shout out to you too, girl, for even creating this podcast and finding a way to stay involved and keep people involved. Like, you're a young entrepreneur yourself, even just starting this podcast is like a first step, and you really building your own wave, and you're doing a really great job, and I'm proud of you. So
thank you so much, girl. That means a lot coming from you, because you're like this boss babe, and you just like totally inspired me to keep going and achieving anything really. So thank you for that. Thank you for being on here, and you and Rob are welcome anytime on Best Candy Ever.
Yes, thank you.
Hell yes. All right, Candy Crew. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.